Welcome to Take 5 with Automation World. I'm David Greenfield, Director of Content at Automation World, and in this episode, we'll be looking at MQTT security and industrial networking trends. Now, you've likely heard of MQTT by now, as it's quickly become a preferred method of industrial communication. Now, first I should say that MQTT stands for Message Queuing Telemetry Transport, and it was developed as a way to gather data from various industrial devices by having those devices send updates about their operation whenever they occur to a server. Now, other systems or applications that need this data then subscribe to this server to get the device's data. So in this publish-subscribe setup, the apps and systems needing this information aren't directly connecting to the production devices, which can create adverse effects on those pieces of equipment and potentially disrupt production. This publish-subscribe method also inherently creates a level of security by decoupling the plant floor devices from the systems that access their data. But of course, this doesn't completely secure MQTT communications on its own. Arlen Nipper, President and Chief Technology Officer at CirrusLink, and who happens to be the co-creator of MQTT, explains that both the MQTT Edge and Enterprise clients use the same security models. He said they each initiate an outbound connection over the TCP/IP network using TLS, or Transport Layer Security, with security certificate credentials from a certificate authority. Now, TLS uses a set of public and private security certificates where the MQTT clients must establish a connection to the MQTT server that's authenticated by the certificate authority. Nipper said this is the same level of security used in banking systems today and is considered best practice by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. This configuration, when used on an edge device, is the same as the one used with MQTT servers, but the servers also have additional security measures through MQTT-level usernames, passwords, and an access control list. Nipper said the access control list limits which devices are allowed to connect into the MQTT server. This list also controls what topics a given username and password pair can publish and subscribe to, which provides additional security. During his presentation at Rockwell Automation Fair this year, Paul Didier from Cisco noted three prominent trends in industrial networking. The first one he mentioned is the shift from proprietary to standard networks, such as Ethernet, which we're all pretty familiar with at this point. The second is the increasing use of zero-trust security models, and the third is the use of software-defined networks. Now, zero trust basically means that devices, users, and applications on the network should be validated and only able to talk to other systems on the network that they're supposed to. Didier says this secures all users and application connections and limits the impact from any device that might get affected by malware. And while it's an important component of digital transformation, software-defined networking is not as prevalent yet as the use of Ethernet or zero-trust security on the plant floor. Didier said software-defined networking was designed originally to make things easier for IT in terms of automating the process of adding and configuring new devices for the network. So one reason for the lack of software-defined networking use on the plant floor is that operations personnel often don't have access to IT tools for network management. Didier says this means that plant floor personnel often have poor visibility into the health of the network, which can lead to uncertainty about whether a network outage that's occurring is being caused by the network or control system issues. So to address this plant floor disconnect with software-defined networks, Didier said Cisco's CyberVision sensor agent collects data from all network ports on the plant floor and analyzes the network traffic to determine what kinds of devices it originates from, who and what devices it's communicating with, and the type of protocol being used. Now, ultimately, these three networking trends we've talked about here highlight how industry is in the process of moving from siloed and manually operated networks to controller-based policy automation and service-driven networks designed to align more closely with business objectives. So I hope you enjoyed this Take 5 with Automation World episode, and please keep watching this space for new episodes to help keep you on top of what's happening in the world of industrial automation.